It was a gloomy evening when Olivia drove down Esher Street. Her GPS had somehow rerouted her through this unfamiliar neighborhood, where the houses looked abandoned and the trees were mere skeletal remains against the blood-red sunset. She'd heard stories about this part of town, but none of them prepared her for the uneasy feeling creeping up her spine. Olivia's car sputtered and choked before abruptly stopping in front of a decrepit house. Cursing under her breath, she realized she had no cell phone signal. An old, rusty mailbox swung in the wind, displaying the faded number 66. With no other option, Olivia approached the house, hoping to find a landline phone. The wooden steps creaked loudly under her weight, and as she pushed the door open, it groaned in protest. The inside was dimly lit by the dying rays of the sun filtering through dusty windows. The air was thick with neglect and something else she couldn't place, an underlying scent of decay. "Hello? Is anyone here?" Olivia called out. Her voice echoed back eerily. She found a table with an old, rotary phone on it. She picked up the receiver but heard nothing, no dial tone, no static. Only silence. Determined to keep moving, she ventured deeper into the house. Each room seemed more unsettling than the last. One room had walls covered with ancient, yellowed wallpaper peeling off, revealing cryptic symbols etched into the wood beneath. Another was filled with old, moth-eaten furniture draped in white sheets, ready to be ghostly specters under the right light. Halfway down a narrow corridor, she noticed a small, flickering light coming from under a closed door. With hesitation, she opened it to find an old television set tuned to static, filling the cramped room with flickering shadows. Her eyes were drawn to a mirror hanging crookedly on the wall. Olivia approached it, her reflection appearing distorted and twisted. She glanced back at the TV and then at the mirror again. This time, her reflection was not her own. It was a face, a gaunt, hollow-eyed apparition staring back at her with a malevolent grin. She stumbled back, tripping over her feet, and the room seemed to warp around her. Dazed and terrified, Olivia ran back toward the entrance, but the house had changed. Hallways twisted in impossible ways, rooms appeared where there were none before, and the exit was nowhere to be found. Voices began to whisper her name from the shadows, growing louder and more insistent. Just as she felt she was about to lose her mind, the door ahead of her burst open, revealing the outside world. She bolted through it and into the cool night air, not stopping until she reached her car. The engine roared to life immediately, as if nothing had happened. Olivia sped away, without looking back once. She never spoke of her experience on Esher Street to anyone, but she could never shake the terror of that night. And as for the house with the faded number 66, it still stands deserted, waiting for its next unsuspecting visitor.